Commander Zethka of the Galactic Council had seen many strange things during his 3 decades of interspecies diplomacy, but nothing quite prepared him for the sight of humans walking around with their so-called pets. The Earth delegation had arrived at Station Kepler 442b with an unusual request: permission to bring their companion animals to the negotiations. "They're completely harmless," Ambassador Sarah Chen had assured the Council, gesturing to the small, 4-legged creature, sitting obediently beside her chair. "This is Max, he's a golden retriever." The creature, Max, had golden fur that seemed to shimmer under the station's artificial lighting, intelligent brown eyes, and what the humans called a tail that moved in rhythmic patterns. Most peculiar of all, it seemed to respond to human vocal commands and displayed what appeared to be emotional attachment to its handler. Councillor Vexitar, a representative of the militaristic Draknari Empire, had scoffed at the presentation. "These humans bring livestock to a diplomatic summit? What manner of primitive species are we dealing with?" "Not livestock," Ambassador Chen had corrected gently. "Companions, family members." The concept had baffled the assembled aliens. The Zephyrians kept symbiotic bacteria for practical purposes. The crystalline Kethra formed temporary alliances with energy parasites. But emotional bonds with non-sentient creatures? It was unprecedented in galactic civilization. Dr. Rikta, the station's xenobiologist, had been fascinated enough to conduct preliminary scans of the Earth animals present. Besides Max, there was a creature called a cat named Luna, smaller, more independent, with retractable claws and predatory instincts, and something called a parrot that could mimic speech patterns with startling accuracy. Interesting, Dr. Rikta had noted in his report. The humans have essentially domesticated various species from their homeworld. The physiological modifications are minimal, suggesting a lengthy co-evolutionary process rather than genetic manipulation. What the good doctor hadn't noted, what none of them had considered, was that Earth was a death world by galactic standards, a planet where apex predators roamed freely, where the very act of survival required constant vigilance, and where evolution had crafted creatures of extraordinary resilience and lethality. The misconception became fatally apparent 3 days into the negotiations. It started when the station's proximity alarms began shrieking through the corridors. Commander Zethka rushed to the command center, his 4 arms working frantically over the control panels as data streamed across the displays. "Report!" he barked. "Hostile contact, sir," replied Lieutenant Keshara. "Void stalkers, pack of 12, approaching from the asteroid field." A collective shudder ran through the bridge crew. Void stalkers were nightmare creatures, silicon-based, predators that could survive in hard vacuum, known for boarding disabled vessels and consuming every organic being aboard. Their crystalline exoskeletons could deflect most energy weapons, and their acidic saliva could eat through hull plating. "Battle stations," Zethka ordered. "Raise shields. Charge weapons." But even as the station's defenses powered up, everyone knew the truth. Kepler 442b was a research and diplomatic facility, not a military installation. Their weapons were designed for asteroid clearing, not combat with apex predators of the void. The first stalker punched through the outer hull 17 minutes later. Emergency bulkheads sealed automatically, but the creatures were already aboard. Their inhuman shrieks echoed through the ventilation systems as they began hunting through the corridors, following the scent of warm-blooded prey. In the diplomatic quarters, Ambassador Chen gathered her team around her. The other alien delegates had barricaded themselves in their respective sections, but the humans seemed strangely calm. "Ma'am," said Lieutenant Rodriguez, the ambassador's security chief, "we should evacuate to the emergency pods." Chen shook her head, looking down at Max, who had been lying peacefully at her feet throughout the crisis. The dog's ears were perked up now, his body tense with an alertness that seemed almost predatory. "I don't think we need to run," she said, quietly. The first Void Stalker reached their sector 23 minutes after the initial breach. It sliced through the reinforced door with claws that could rend molecular bonds, its multifaceted eyes scanning the room for prey. Standing nearly 3 meters tall with a carapace that had weathered cosmic radiation for centuries, It was death incarnate. Max stood up. What happened next would be analyzed by xenobiologists for decades to come. The golden retriever, all 32 kilograms of domesticated Earth canine, looked at the Void Stalker and did something that no creature in galactic civilization had ever done. He wagged his tail. Then he attacked. The Stalker, accustomed to prey that fled in terror, was completely unprepared for an opponent that charged directly at its center mass. Max's jaws, evolved from wolves that had hunted mammoths across frozen wastelands, clamped down on the creature's primary sensory cluster with crushing force. The Stalker's shriek of pain and confusion echoed through the station as Max shook his head. A motion refined by millions of years of evolution to snap the necks of prey, and the predator's optical array shattered like glass. Blinded, the Stalker flailed wildly, but Max had already released and repositioned his canine intelligence, calculating angles and vulnerabilities with the precision of a guided missile. He darted between the creature's legs, causing it to overbalance, and crashed to the deck. Before the Stalker could recover, Max was at its throat, or what passed for a throat in its alien anatomy. His teeth found the gaps in the crystalline armor, and his powerful jaw muscles, designed to process bones and tough cartilage, compressed the creature's vital neural pathways until it stopped moving. The silence that followed was profound. Through the station's communication system, reports began trickling in from other sectors. Luna, the cat, had used her retractive claws and predatory instincts to blind 2 stalkers before they even knew she was there. The parrot, Charlie, had confused a pack of 3 by mimicking their own hunting calls, leading them into a maintenance shaft where they became trapped. But it was Max's victory that became legend. Commander Zethka arrived at the diplomatic quarters to find Ambassador Chen calmly scratching behind her dog's ears, while the corpse of a Void Stalker lay twisted on the floor beside them. "I thought you said your pets were harmless," he said weakly. Ambassador Chen smiled. "I said they were harmless to us. I never said anything about being harmless to our enemies." The surviving Void Stalkers retreated within the hour, apparently deciding that a station defended by Earth's pets was not worth the casualties. In the aftermath, as the galactic delegates tried to process what they had witnessed, Dr. Richter updated his files on Earth fauna. His new report included a critical addendum. Recommend extreme caution when assessing threat levels of Earth species. Previous assumptions about domestication appear to have been fundamentally flawed. The negotiations concluded successfully 2 days later. The Galactic Council voted unanimously to approve humanity's petition for membership, though several amendments were added to the standard diplomatic protocols. Chief among them was a new regulation. Any human delegation would be permitted to bring their companion animals to all future summits. After all, as Commander Zethka noted in his official report, it was always wise to have the best possible security. Max, for his part, spent the rest of the diplomatic mission doing what golden retrievers do best: being a good boy, protecting his pack, and occasionally accepting treats from very respectful alien dignitaries who had suddenly developed a profound appreciation for Earth's evolutionary processes. The galaxy would never look at humanity's pets the same way again.